I was reading a really interesting article over the weekend called "The Future of Remote Sensing," published in the website 𝗟𝗂𝗳𝗆ness. It's actually an old article, 2021, but it got me thinking. I'd come from GIS, my whole career was in GIS, but I now work for a remote sensing company. Why did I make that move? I began to recognize this future that is based around location-based data, but not just two-dimensional data. And a lot of that data is being collected and sits in the remote sensing world. But where that article I thought was interesting was there's a spotlight being shined on remote sensing just recently. And again, folks like me moving and starting to work in that world. I think part of that is to do with the interest in LiDAR. But I also think the satellite industry has a piece to play in that as well. There's been a lot of attention focused on the satellite industry. And that has shone a light on remote sensing since the data that's being collected, many call it Earth observation data, is of these different types. So we've now got thermal, we've got hyperspectral. We hear all about all these different types of data we never heard about before. So we've moved into this new era for where it comes to data. I would say, and again, the article points this out, it's very much a niche. If you look at the satellite industry, we've got one group of people that are in SAR, we've got another group of people that are in imagery. We've got this broken up, fragmented world in satellite. That would apply as well in remote sensing as well. And I'm fortunate enough to work with across a multitude of different data sets within the organization I work for. But we remain in a niche, fragmented world, and I would broaden that to geospatial. Somebody commented on this article, which is where I picked it up in LinkedIn, that we need to get the technology out of the way. And he was specifically talking about remote sensing, but again, I would generalize and say that geospatial data and technology needs to get out of the way. I've had people tell me we need to be in a place where we get to a Google Maps type world, where it's easy for anybody to get in and get out, get what they need. And we don't live in that world yet, but that has to be our goal, to actually get into that world. I would add one more piece to that, which is sort of where I sit in the geospatial world now, and that is I believe we need one lens that focuses on all of this data and all of this technology. So we start with a problem. You've heard me go on about the mentality we still see in geospatial, which is if we build it, they will come, solutions looking for problems. We do need to start with a problem. Again, I don't want to be a repeating broken record. But we need that lens to be a single lens across all of geospatial, not a single lens against imagery, not a single lens against GIS and 2D maps, not a single lens against LiDAR. It's a collection of data sets that we're bringing together, and potentially it's the fusion of those data sets and the enrichment of those data sets, which helps customers get to solve problems. So I think we currently lack a single lens. We do live in a fragmented world. And yes, I think that the fact we've now got to focus on remote sensing, or at least that the spotlight's being shone on remote sensing, means we have to evolve. The whole industry needs to evolve. And we're at that point where we're still kind of spinning around and inertia remains kind of solidly in place. Not in all organizations, but I'm still seeing it. So anyway, that's my Monday thought.